Another movie down, and so another remake follows. This one is the Cinderella remake, directed by Kenneth Branagh. I had somewhat high hopes going into this. I thought this would be pretty solid, or at least that's what I hoped. So, you tell me, Aaron, do you think this was a solid successor to the original, or did they make a bippity-boppity-boo-boo?
I think I was with it for like the first half because I liked the way they were portraying the characters. I liked the way everything was presented. I liked the actors. I liked the music. I like that it kept a little bit of the kind of fantastical nature of the original with like the mice and the cat and stuff like that, even though it was very, very underplayed. But as soon as they set up the ball and go to the ball and get the dress and they do the fairy godmother and everything, the whole thing just kind of implodes in on itself.
Yeah, I felt let down by this. I guess it's better than some of the remakes. Well, certainly better than, I don't want to say yet. But certainly better than some, but not great. The first one I consider to be a masterpiece. This didn't need to be a masterpiece. It just had to be really solid, and I felt like it was kind of weak.
Well, they do the obvious thing that we kind of expected them to do, was to try to flesh out the characters a little more. Like, primarily the character of the prince, who I do kind of like what they were doing with him. Like, they do like a parallel between him and Ella, who she's called in this, which is a needless change that I don't really understand, and the way it's kind of set up in the movie is garbage.
Yeah, I'll just get that out of the way right now. Her name is Ella, and I was wondering throughout the first 30 minutes, why Ella? Why not Cinderella?
Yeah.
And then I started to think, do they think putting Cinder in front of Ella makes it sound not effeminate or something? What's up with that? And then 5 minutes later, Cinderella is sleeping by the fire, and she wakes up, and she's got soot and cinder on her face, and so the evil stepsisters are like, oh, Cinderella! Yeah, it's like, that is lame.
Yeah, that's really, one, contrived, and two, just make her name Cinderella.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but anyways, they draw a parallel between them and the prince. Like, they both have parents that have kind of died off, and the prince in this one, his father is very, very ill, so he wants to see his son married off before he perishes.
Yeah, he's on the road to croaking, and he wants him to marry a princess. He's more of a marry royalty for security and of the kingdom, and not so much a marry for love kind of guy.
Yeah, and the prince doesn't care about that. He finds Cinderella in the woods while he's on a hunt.
I don't think the father character is particularly interesting in this. And in the original film, the king and the Grand Duke were hilarious. In this, they're not, and that's okay.
Yeah,
but
in the cartoon, he's very much a comedic figure. In this one, he's supposed to be more like a passing the torch to his son. He wants to, give him everything and set him up for success.
Yeah, that's fine, but I feel like the conflict between he and his son is pretty tepid and way too easily resolved.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there just to give a little bit more depth to the prince character. I mean, there's really...
Yeah, except
not much else to
yeah, I don't think it really works because the conflict between them is so limp and not particularly heated. Yeah. It's just, you need to marry a princess, you need to marry a princess, you need to marry a princess. What's this? I'm dying. Okay, I was wrong. Marry for love. It's okay.
They also attempt to give a little bit more development to the evil stepmother. It doesn't really pay off in any kind of appreciable way.
No.
That was kind of my biggest disappointment was... Cate Blanchett as the character is pretty fun casting.
Yeah, perfect.
But unfortunately, she doesn't really go as hard as she could into the character.
Yeah, she feels very underwritten in this. It feels like they were trying to get by simply on Cate Blanchett being in it.
Yeah, it's like they didn't want the characters to be too mean. I don't know. She's severely underplayed, and...
yeah, she feels considerably less cold and malicious than the cartoon one.
I think the reason, obviously, they want you to feel some sort of sympathy for her because she kind of has motivations that become revealed later on for, kind of why she is the way she is and why she does what she does.
Whereas in the animated one, like I said, they were just simple fairy tale archetypes, and that was okay.
Yeah, that was enough.
But... yeah, they tried to insert a little depth, and I don't think it really worked with any of the characters here, except with maybe Ella. The thesis statement of this film, the thing that drives her is be kind and have courage.
Yeah.
Admirable.
She's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, this is her breakthrough role.
Yeah, she's pretty good in the movie. She handles the character pretty well and gives it some charm and life. And like I said, I was with this for kind of the first half, just waiting for them to get into things. And as soon as they set up the ball and get that going, I was like, some of this seems like really rushed and we haven't really developed certain things. And like the whole dress thing from the original, like we haven't really delved into that.
True.
So then it becomes kind of like, I won't say a speed run because this is like 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's weird. It felt like that ball sequence happened really early in the movie, but at the same time, it's a much longer movie than the cartoon.
Yeah, it feels like it's happening too fast, but also it's dragged out for too long.
Yeah. And then we get Helena Bonham Carter as the fairy godmother.
Yeah, and this is kind of where the movie really stepped in it for me.
Yeah. First of all, when she first appears, she's wearing the worst old age makeup I've ever seen in my life. And that's crazy because Big Fish was 12 years earlier than this, where she played the witch, and the makeup was good, so what the hell's wrong with her? And then she turns into a pretty Helena Bonham Carter, and the way she portrays the character is meant to be comedic, like she's a comedy relief, and she has a big personality. It's one of those characters where she plays everything big.
It's just annoying, though.
Yeah, except she doesn't actually say or do anything funny. She just says everything big.
And for a movie about, having courage, it's, awfully confusing that they don't have the courage to actually do the song here.
Yeah. You gotta listen to the credits if you want to hear bippity boppity boo.
Yeah, it's just do the song. Like, it's a big part of it. You gotta do the song. Or if you don't, replace it with something good, and they just don't replace it with anything.
It's one of those things where either you stick closer to the source or you take it in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think I would have preferred it if they had taken it in a totally different direction.
Yeah, didn't really like any of that.
All the scenes with the lizards and the animals turned into the coachmen and stuff that transport her, none of that was funny.
No.
It just came off as awkward and weird.
Yeah, it's just strange and too much.
I thought the mice could have been dropped from this altogether. They were critical to the original film. Even though it would have been better if there was less mice in the original, they were pertinent. They were important. But here,
I feel like you could have had more of the mice here to further drive the point home that Cinderella doesn't have anybody. The only thing she has are the rodents that live in her house and the dog.
If they were gonna do it though, I would have preferred they use real mice like Mr. Jangles from the Green Mile.
Yeah, that's too much work.
You can build an emotional attachment to a real animal, like a cute little rodent like in a Green Mile. And here they're all CGI mice, and they have these high pitched tittering noises in absence of dialogue, and it's just strange.
Yeah. When this movie ended and directed by Kenneth Branagh came up on this screen, everything kind of made sense all of a sudden. Because when I was watching this, I felt like I was watching the first Thor movie. But Thor was pretty consistent, and they stuck the landing. But here, like I said, after the first half and we're leading into the climax and stuff like that, the whole thing just kind of falls apart. But just kind of the visual style, the way the sequences are directed, the music that's overlaid, some of the score is actually pretty good.
Yes.
And some of the visuals are pretty nice too, until it becomes drenched in computer effects. I don't know what it is with him in fantasy movies, but he has a kind of you can almost sense that it's him doing it.
It probably comes from his lifelong obsession with Shakespeare and his many Shakespeare adaptations.
Yeah.
He's got a very operatic sensibility. Which I don't think is actually present here.
Yeah. It, like I said, really only in that first half, when it feels like they're kind of letting the movie breathe and be its own thing.
Yeah.
And then the second half is just this has to be a Cinderella movie. Where's all the Cinderella stuff?
I'm also surprised that he didn't have a role in this. You'd think he'd cast himself as the king.
Yeah. After that was the first thing I thought. I was like, what? He didn't play the king. That seems like obvious casting for him.
Maybe this was a paycheck.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got a Shakespeare movie I need to fund. I'll work for Disney.
I don't really have too much else to say. This is the one that you saw previously, correct?
No, I didn't see
Oh,
this.
you never saw this?
The only
Okay.
Cinderella adaptation I had ever seen in my life prior to these two was Ever After,
Ever After, yeah.
which is a much better movie than this.
Yeah, so I do remember hearing that this was like one of the better remakes, so I was a little like interested and excited to watch this to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, let down by the end of it. It starts pretty strong, and it's got good acting and a good cast, good performances. But it just kind of it doesn't do anything interesting with the material, and it just feels like we have to follow the formula. So let's just trot out the stuff from the previous one, but let's also cut some of the stuff
Yeah, very, very immemorable.
by the numbers.
The stepsisters aren't as hateable as they are in the original.
No, they're like barely a presence in this. It feels like.
Yeah, Lady Tremaine feels like she has nothing to work with. Like Kate Blanchett is like trying her best to like keep this leaky boat from sinking, but she's not doing a great job because the material that she has given to work with is so limp.
Yeah, she's just very subdued, and in kind of this fantastical story, you need that really dark force, against Cinderella for her to really, to root for her coming out of the other side of it.
Case in point, Angelica Houston in Ever After.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I can't recall.
It's a good one. And unfortunately, this wasn't. Not terrible, but I'll never watch this again. What's your final number grade on a scale of 1 to 10?
6.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not one of the better Disney remakes. It's not the worst one, that's for sure.
Bippity boppity boo.